Hi everyone, my name is Jude Okeke and I'm from Nigeria, and I'm also representing my Group E23, on the topic specifically verbal communication, considering its cross-cultural content. However, in this study, we'll be looking at the relationship between verbal communication and non-verbal communication signals, and also we'll be considering some essential elements and skills of verbal communication. And lastly, we will be considering the cultural context of verbal communication. But first, what is verbal communication? Verbal communication is simply the use of words to share information with other people. It can therefore include both spoken and written communication. However, many people use the term to describe only spoken communication, but the verbal element of communication is all about the words that you choose, how you say them, and how it is being heard and interpreted by others. It is important to note that effective verbal communication cannot be fully isolated from non-verbal communication. This is because effective verbal communication involves three main areas, which are the words you choose, how you say them, and how you reinforce them with other non-verbal communication elements. When non-verbal signals match up with the words you are saying, they increase trust and clarity, but when they don't, they generate tension, mistrust, and confusion. However, to avoid any mismatch between non-verbal communication signals and verbal communication, there is need to have the full complementary skills of verbal and non-verbal communication. And this happens to be one of the reasons why we choose this topic, because people need to know and have these skills in order to ensure effective verbal communication. And some of these skills of verbal communication will be taken care of by my teammate, Erika Devan.
The first important factor within verbal communication is effective speaking. Considering your choice of words carefully is very important within verbal communication and effective speaking. Different situations call for different words, and that depends on how formal or informal the situation is and who you are speaking to. What you say to a close colleague will be very different to what you say at a major conference. And just like our first lesson within our communication training course, who you are speaking to, whether there's cultural differences, gender differences, is very important and can be crucial to verbal communication. Active listening is also very important within verbal communication. When we communicate, we tend to think about our response to the other person instead of actually listening to respond. There are a number of ways that you can ensure that you are listening, and this includes being open-minded, avoiding any distractions, especially environmental and who's around us, removing any bias or stereotypes of the other person or subject, being objective, and maintaining genuine curiosity and empathy. These are all very important when you are speaking, listening, and responding in verbal communication.
Having noted the two main essential elements of verbal communication stated by Erika Devan, we still have other ones like reinforcements, reflecting, questioning, and clarifying. But because of time, we'll be moving over to the cross-cultural context of verbal communication.
Communication is largely influenced by where we come from, which simply means that our culture shapes how we express ourselves in communicating with one another. And this can be found in our gender roles, cultural norms, and emotional difference, which varies from one culture to another. For example, in the western part of Nigeria, where we have the Yoruba people, for you to greet an elderly person, you have to prostrate to be able to show a sign of respect. But in the north, it's considered normal even when you stand straight and greet an elderly person. And also in the western part of the world, for example, in America, the use of explicit words are considered normal, but in Africa, when you use such words, they are considered as an insult.